This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev threatened Armenia with war yesterday unless it gives in to his demands. Until a peace treaty is signed and Armenia completely renounces all territorial claims against Azerbaijan, which are still present in its constitution, and demonstrates sincerity in its behavior toward normalizing relations with Azerbaijan, the risk of a new military confrontation will always persist. Aliyev said this at a forum attended by international figures supportive of his regime, such as his notorious unofficial lobbyists Brenda Schaefer and Svante Cornell. These alleged territorial claims in the constitution refers to a mention of Armenia's Declaration of Independence, which in turn calls for the unification of Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh. Armenia argues this isn't a claim and points to the draft normalization deal, which includes mutual recognition of each country's borders. The agreement also says neither side can rely on internal laws to avoid upholding the treaty. Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has long called for changing Armenia's constitution and denies the initiative is the result of Azerbaijani pressure. However, repeated demands to do so from Baku further complicate the process, which requires a national referendum that may take years. Critics inside Armenia warn that Azerbaijan is likely to keep pushing for even more, in particular for a land corridor across Armenia's southern Sunnik region, which Aliyev has threatened to open by force. Since the text of the normalization deal was finalized last month, Azerbaijan has held off on signing it. Instead, officials in Baku have ramped up daily accusations that Armenia is violating the ceasefire, allegations Yerevan firmly denies. On the ground, Armenian border residents say it's Azerbaijan's forces who are firing nightly, mostly into the air, but in at least one case, bullets struck a home. Armenia and Iran have begun a joint military exercise along their shared border, focused on enhancing border security and improving the readiness of operational units. The two-day exercise, which started yesterday, simulates counterterrorism operations against hypothetical terrorist groups targeting the Armenian-Iranian border checkpoint. The forces of each country will remain on their side of the border. This joint exercise marks what may be the first ever military collaboration between Armenia and Iran, coming amid Aliyev's latest threat of war. Iran strongly opposes Azerbaijan's push for the corridor across Sunnik, fearing it may cut off its border with Armenia. The Armenian government in recent years appeared cautious about significantly increasing military ties with Iran, preferring to strengthen relationships with the West instead. The drills are expected to conclude today. Check out our interview with Narek Sukiasyan, a political science lecturer at the American University of Armenia, who examines the strategic dynamics between Russia and Armenia during and after the 2020 44-day war. Sukiasyan discusses the long-term misalignment between Moscow and Yerevan, the implications of Russia's response to the conflict, and the future of Armenian security policy in a changing geopolitical landscape. Watch the broadcast through the link in this video's description or on our website, CivilNet.am/en. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 13. Keeping with this week's theme of Armenian feminist writers, that's the number of years the Istanbul-based periodical Haygin was published, starting in 1919. Meaning Armenian Woman, the magazine was published by Hayganush Mark, who founded it in the wake of World War I, thanks to the era's relative freedom due to Turkey being occupied by Western powers. Through the journal, Mark crafted a special brand of Armenian feminism, which balanced cultural traditions with a strident belief that men and women were different but equal. Though it was shut down by Turkish authorities in 1932 for being subversive, Mark's work inspired the next generation of Armenian women publishers. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.